would you condone one of your corrections officers using a flashlight to jack an inmate's mouth open? So,
And we put a statement out on that.
I got the statement, but the sheriff condoned it. So where's the K2 spice that you said you found?
The what?
You put out a press release that day saying you found K2 spice.
That is.
Where is it?
Sheriff, I just had a question for you about Neil Held. Sir, if you could not block my access onto the public elevator, I appreciate it. So in your opinion, Mr. Held is doing the appropriate work for the sheriff's office?
No comment.
No comment? Hey everyone, this is Redress Now. We attended a press conference at the Edward A. Rath County Office Building in downtown Buffalo, New York on May the 30th, 2025. The event was tailor-made for mainstream media consumption and regurgitation. It was put on by Erie County Sheriff John Garcia and County Executive Marc Poloncarz. These two top members of the Western New York political class wanted local media to gather and observe them patting themselves on the back for their latest taxpayer-funded boondoggle. And that boondoggle is their interest in renovating the Erie County Jail facility in the town of Alden, New York, and moving all county jail operations to that facility at a low taxpayer cost of just about $430 million. No big deal, right? Garcia and Poloncarz were hoping local media would praise them for proposing to spend just $430 million of taxpayer money on a renovated jail facility instead of almost $700 million on a brand new facility. Hey, taxpayers, we were going to take $700 million from you, but how about we just take $430 million? Sounds like a great deal, right? Well, some local journalists had their own ideas at this press event, like getting answers to important law enforcement transparency questions when Republican Sheriff John Garcia is running unopposed for re-election this year. Apparently, the Erie County Democrats are too weak-kneed to run a solid opposition candidate, so, per usual, Erie County voters get screwed again with no real choice at the ballot box. As Sheriff Garcia's heavily choreographed press conference closed down, the journalists in the room began asking about issues of public interest that perhaps the politicians present would rather avoid. One of those issues involved the January 9th, 2024 incident at the Erie County Correctional Facility. On that date, Erie County Sheriff's Office corrections officers claimed drugs were transferred into the mouth of inmate Terrence Cash after a kiss from his girlfriend during a jail visit. The corrections officers then used what experts described as a disturbing level of force to open Cash's mouth. Here's body camera video of the incident.
Open your mouth. Open your mouth or I'm gonna break them teeth. Open your mouth. Open your mouth.
Spit it out.
Spit it out. Spit it out. Spit it out, dude. Everybody saw it. Spit it out.
It's already done.
Spit it out. Spit it out. Spit it out.
It's not gonna work.
No. Pick him up. Let's go. Spit it out. Spit it out.
Fuck off you, bro.
Spit it out. I can see it.
Spit it out. I don't give a fuck. Shit,
You know you can die. You know you can die.
You die, you faggot.
That's not what we want.
Fucking.
If it breaks, you can die. You should.
Spit it out, Cash. I don't got nothing. Stand him up, sir. Walk him out. He gonna walk him out.
I can't walk.
Stand up for the walk.
I can't walk. No. I can't walk. My left leg don't work. My left leg don't work.
Stand up.
Come on, let's take him to medical.
Yo, you good.
Keep taking him out.
Stop. Start to spit it out. It's broken his mouth and he's starting to spit it out on the floor. Just open your mouth.
Bodycam's on?
Mine. You want his mouth open?
Cash, open your mouth. Apply pressure, his mouth will open. Apply pressure, his mouth will open.
Open your mouth.
He's got to spit it out.
Open your mouth.
Spit it out. Neely, watch your face.
Open his mouth. Open it.
Come on, Terrence.
Open your mouth.
Your mouth. Get rid of it.
Open it. Open it. Open it.
Apply pressure under his jaw. Apply pressure under his jaw.
Sit him down. Open your mouth.
He's got to spit it out.
Open your mouth.
Spit it out. Neely, watch your face.
Open his mouth. Open it.
Come on, Terrence.
Open your
Open your
mouth.
mouth. Just get rid of it.
Open it. Open it. Open it.
Apply pressure under his jaw. Apply pressure under his jaw.
Sit down. Sit him down. Sit him down. Open your mouth.
Sarge, watch your hands, he's poison.
Open your mouth. Open it. You got it on the neck on that side?
No pressure on his forehead.
Open it.
Release the pressure. Release the pressure.
No.
All right, continue movement to correct the
Right camera. Oh, got you.
Go clean yourself.
Got it.
Go clean yourself. Go clean.
Who's going out that way? Close the eye. You too?
Yeah. When you're trying to sit them down, I got it all over me.
Camera is this. Mine.
Thanks.
I just got a low on my arm. Derek, you got the wrong of it.
The jail deputies created a lot of damage using a flashlight to jack open inmate Cash's jaw. In the process, something ejected from Cash's mouth, either a tooth or a rubber balloon. You can make your own conclusion, but here's what other jail deputies said.
Stay to the right. I don't want you to step in my evidence. Is that a tooth right there? No. Could be.
Fuck it.
Is that a tooth? No, I think it's a glove or a balloon.
Here's what Terrence Cash's attorney and 2 incarceration experts said of the incident in an interview with WIVB Channel 4 News.
Using a flashlight as a jack in someone's mouth is something that I have never seen in my almost 15 years of practice as an attorney. I think that it rises to the level of, under the 8th Amendment, a cruel and unusual punishment. Even if somebody who is incarcerated has something that officers believe is dangerous in their mouth, they're not allowed to use force in a way that they know will lead to physical injuries.
In the event that he did not produce anything, in the federal system, we have what we call dry cell, in which we place an inmate in a dry cell and we allow him to excrete whatever is in his mouth, and it will come out in his feces. It was one of the most difficult cases of excessive use of forces that I've seen throughout my career. I don't believe that it was warranted for that excessive use of force. Take him to medical, he gets assessed, he or she gets assessed. Also, if they felt he swallowed something, they could have put him on the boss chair, x-rayed him.
You're traumatized, you're ruined for the rest of your life. It is unbelievable that we're doing this to people while they're handcuffed, where they have no way to resist. Let's say he did have something. There are many steps they can take. I've been in corrections a long time. They take you to the doo-doo room. They put you in isolation. They don't let you come out until you pass several tests of passing your bowels. There is no cause for beating somebody like that. There is no cause. There's no cause.
Cash was charged with unlawful possession and attempt to distribute contraband in the prison. His girlfriend, seen here, was charged with promoting prison contraband. All charges were dismissed. Erie County Sheriff John Garcia issued a statement on April 29, 2025 about the Terrence Cash incident. In that statement, he condoned the actions of his jail deputies, saying, quote, "The actions taken by staff were in line with policy and procedure, and taking into consideration the exigency of the situation created by incarcerated individual Cash." End quote. Channel 4 News reporter Dan Telvach had some questions about this statement for Sheriff Garcia at his May 30th, 2025 press conference.
Hey, Sheriff? Sheriff? Why would you condone one of your corrections officers using a flashlight to jack an inmate's mouth open?
You sure you want to say open?
I don't want to say open. Why would you condone that?
There was a internal investigation regarding that, and
What happened?
well, we took everything into consideration, and it was resolved with a counseling due to the corrections officer's prior discipline, and he was moved from business.
So,
And we put a statement out on that.
I got the statement, but the sheriff condoned it, and now he's saying that there was some discipline, but you condoned it. Why did you condone it?
Well, you have to remember, in the heat of the moment, and what a lot of people don't know is that 4 out of the 5 people that were there were all part of an incident where somebody swallowed a bag of contraband drugs, choked and died. Okay, so when in the heat of the moment, when that's happening, the flashlights used to insert pressure points of the face for the person to open their mouth, because obviously you're not going to stick your hand in somebody's mouth, and this is just to save somebody. I mean, in the old days, the contraband was tobacco, maybe marijuana. Look at the fentanyl. Look at the fentanyl. Even cocaine, heroin. We always say nothing's safe, and we've had over 400 overdose deaths. This was done only to save the person, only to save the person. And in the heat of the moment, we're all human beings, but this was done in order to help the person. Now, the person brought it in. He wouldn't open his mouth. If
He did open his mouth.
Well, but he swallowed it. He swallowed it, but he
then-
never opened his mouth. I mean, I'm not going to go into the details.
Sure, but you said,
Listen,
you sent out a press release
Yeah.
saying you found K2
Well-
spice. Did he swallow it? Did he spit it out? Or?
well, no, he swallowed it.
So where's the K2 spice that you said you found?
The what?
You put out a press release that day saying you found K2 spice.
That is.
Where
true.
is it?
In our
Dave even
refuge.
swallowed it?
Well, because it's a bag. In the balloon, it was tied up at the end with some sort of tie. So the only thing that was left was the top of the bag and the residue.
But it was tested, and it came up negative. All charges were dropped. If there
Well,
was
the charges
evidence
were-
of
the
K2
charges
spice,
were
they would have
dropped
been
because we
convicted.
preferred for
I'm sorry,
him.
go
The
ahead.
charges were dropped because we preferred for him to go do his 5 to 7 years in state prison than to continue having him for another 30 days of local time.
Sheriff, we can just ask one last thing here.
Yes.
Our office had FOIA'd Chris for disciplinary records. And from what we understand, your office did not release them, even though your predecessor has done so. Is there a reason why you can't release those disciplinary records? And again, we get a FOIA saying, no, you can't do this.
Each case, Ron, is done on an individual basis. I had a conversation with Sandy Tan about the same issue. We have to get better, okay? We have to get better. When I took office, we were very short-handed in the jail. We are now in a good spot. We were short-handed on the road. We still only have 177 road deputies for 600 square miles. We did not have a professional standards division. Now we have one. We've gone through accreditation, which takes a lot of time, it's labor intensive for the jail, the road, correctional health, civil, all of it. In some cases, we've gotten national accreditation. Policies, procedures, all of them have been modernized. We do barcoding now for every single file, so one file won't ever go missing ever again. We've taken, in 3.5 years, Ron, we've taken great steps that are very labor intensive and costly too. And it's just working with DLR right now, all the data that had to go to that. Now, we don't have the 5 to 6 FOIL officers that the city of Buffalo has. We have one person that does 2 jobs. The Chief of Professional Standards Division, Neil Held, does the original FOIL, and our appeals director is our Chief of Civil, Dan Grasso, who's an attorney and a former judge. So this is how we're doing it now. Am I saying we can't get better? We have to get better everywhere. That's why we had this press conference today on the jail. I've been in office for 3.5 years. The transparency, I've talked to everybody regarding everything. Now, for FOILs, a lot of it is non-existent that we have to then create a file. So for us to have to go back and dig up, in the case of New York Times, 24 years of disciplinary records. Giglio and Brady, we don't hold those records. Giglio is a list that the DA's office might have, or the US attorneys. The prosecutors have that and say, Ron Plants can testify in that case. But that's not something we have. But do we have to get better? 100%. And I promise you this, during the next budget cycle, I'm gonna put in for 2 FOIL officers to modernize this, to make it a smoother process, and to really put out the information. I'm not trying to withhold any information. The problem is this, is going back when you're doing another job and having to compile all this information, it's very tasking on a sheriff's office that's already spread thin.
So do you anticipate eventually more disciplinary records will be released?
I'm not against disciplinary records being released. I'm not against anything being released.
Sheriff, you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice not to release them.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for answering questions.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sheriff, do you think that Neil Held is the appropriate person to be heading your FOIL office, given that he's been very non-transparent with local journalists over the years? Maybe the issue is the existing staff you have now? This is Chief Held, vindictively recording a local journalist because he had the gall to document his SWAT team recruiting operation at a Buffalo Bills game. Sheriff Garcia relies on Chief Held to respond to New York State Freedom of Information Law, or FOIL requests, and lead the Sheriff's Professional Standards Division. Let's see how well Chief Held performs the very basic task of identifying himself to the public while on duty.
Can I get a name and badge number?
I don't want any problems, Dan.
Can I get a name and badge number?
Have a good one. Have a good one.
I just need to identify.
Keep going.
Badge number or name?
Oh, hey, have a good night.
Badge number or name?
Have a good night.
Is there a supervisor around?
Have a good night.
I'm just looking for a badge number or name. Are you not working on your official capacity?
Dan, have a good night, fella.
I'm just asking you for a name or an ID number.
I heard you.
What we have here is a failure to identify. Chief Held's name is apparently a state secret if you record him in public. By the way, do you want information on the explosive drunk driving scandal involving Erie County Sheriff's narcotics chief DJ Granville and the money it's costing taxpayers? Too bad. Denied by Neil Held for no credible reason. Want the basic disciplinary records of Erie County Sheriff's deputies as required by state law? Neil Held doesn't care what the state law says. Denied again, for no legitimate reason. Let's check in with local journalist auditing Erie County about a FOIL request he's been pursuing for over a year. How's that one going?
I did another FOIL request for dash cam footage and body camera footage of an incident where a sheriff and a female got into a motor vehicle accident, and she alleges that they hit her with a baton for no reason. She claims she was having a medical emergency trying to get to the side of the road when the sheriff pinned her truck with his patrol vehicle. She says then he jumped out of the vehicle, opened her door, and whacked her with a baton. I personally don't believe in taking one person's story, especially when there's video evidence, but the sheriff's department refuses to give out this video evidence of what happened to this young lady. And I'll tell you what, I don't know what a 120-pound woman could do so bad that a sheriff would need to blast her in the face like this and leave that kind of a shiner. And fam, the court paperwork nuts. It states that she bit the officer at one time because he was holding her down trying to press the welt back in her forehead, but she was never charged for biting him, so there's got to be some type of foul play, but the sheriffs will not give out this information. They deny the FOIL request like they got something to hide, and go ahead and look whose name's on that. That's right, you suckered taxpayers. He's been upgraded to chief too. What do you think about that?
Neil Held has presided over a several-year tidal wave of frivolous FOIL denials, covering virtually every topic of public interest. So why waste taxpayer money hiring 2 more people to do Chief Held's job without first correcting his authoritarian, anti-transparency tendencies? Let's ask Sheriff Garcia.
Chris. Yeah, I got it. Thanks.
Your garage shut downstairs somewhere? Did you want to go
All right, folks, so there you have it. We were able to Sheriff, I just had a question for you about Neil Held. Do you think he's the appropriate person to be heading up FOIL?
Neil Held is an excellent professional law enforcement agent.
We get a lot of denials from Neil that seem to be frivolous, and there's a lot of video online of him acting in a derogatory and non-transparent way with local journalists. I'm just what I hear from the public is maybe it'd be better if we put someone else in that spot, and that would produce better results than hiring more people to do FOIL requests.
Well, I think the important part is to have the proper amount of people working there.
What, is Mr. Held the proper person?
Yes.
Sir, if you could not block my access onto the public elevator, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks. So in your opinion, Mr. Held is doing the appropriate work for the sheriff's office?
No comment.
No comment? I think this sort of feeds into the public perception that the office is hiding something if we can't just get a basic comment on FOIL.
I've been here 3.5 years. I think this office has grown to be a modern professional police agency, and we're only going to get better. Are there, ways to get better? Yeah. We need more people, I can tell you that.
But do you think, though, improving the performance of the people you have may be part of that process?
And that's what we've been doing since day one.
Well, I mean, one of the things that we get in responses from Mr. Held are these blanket denials that don't have anything to do with the request that's put in. It seems to just be check marks on every element that could be an exception. And it just seems to be a blanket stonewalling of journalists, and we're just hoping that can improve quickly.
I don't believe that. I think we have a great relationship with the media, and it's only going to get better.
Well, we hope so.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good weekend. You too. Take care.
Have a good day, guys.
All right, folks, so there you have it. Not going to consider removing Neil Held as Freedom of Information Law officer for the Sheriff's Department. We'll put in some video, perhaps it's already in the video through the editing process, of what Mr. Held does to local journalists and how he stymies local reporters when they submit FOIL requests. Mr. Held, in my experience, has been one of the most arrogant, non-transparent members of the Erie County Sheriff's Office. And it's just abundantly clear to me that asking the taxpayers to lay out more cash for additional staff is not the way to go. The way to go is to remove tyrants like Neil Held and put people in who actually have an interest in transparency, an interest in following the dictates of the Freedom of Information Law. And it just doesn't seem like Sheriff Garcia is interested in doing that, especially if he's saying to me and the public by way of the story that he feels that Neil Held is an excellent officer and is doing a good job. My understanding is Neil Held is primarily a SWAT officer, and I just don't think that translates well to transparency and providing records to the public when appropriate. I think that his training is one of thin blue line, gang back to blue, and don't put records out when you don't need to, which in his view is all the time. So I would say, though, our ability to access the building today for a media event was a success. I'd encourage more members of the public to come down here when these press events are being put on, and avail themselves of the availability of public officials and ask questions. So until next time, defend your right to keep and bear cameras in public. This is Redress Now.